That. Hello, 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 hello. I am. Yes, I am. Uh, but it was taking me a moment because I am no sound, no video. I have sound and video now. Howdy, y'all. Ooh, so my hair is a mess now. Hello, everyone. How are you? I am. Hey, Latasha. Hey, Shirley Stewart. Thank the both of you for being YouTube Hoop Group members. Kingsbury Crafts. Hey, dear Miss 143. She says she's on time. Hey, Lila Nelson. Thank you for being Embroidery Diva. Hello. How are you, Carmen Alvarado? Embroidery Diva. Lori from Canada. Inspiration Creations. Hello. Lupe. Hello. So Crafty. Thank you for being a YouTube group member. Hey, PJ Coppage. How are you? Man, y'all were in here. I was trying. Hey, Lucy. How are you? Um, Yamake Couture at Broderie Machine. Hello. Thank you for being a YouTube Hoop Group member. Very much, actually. Robin Bryant. Hello. Karen Murray. Hello. Lucy. Hello. Tracy. Hello. Marianne Reddick. Hey, dear. How are you? Welcome. Tanya York. Hello. Heather Butler. Linda Hargis. Hello. And Sierra Martin. Hello. How are you as well? Um, Beverly Brown. Hello. How are you? So I was going to because I got my studio for the most part running. It's up and running. It's not all put together, but it is up and running. And can't find my camera. I cannot find my webcam. So unfortunately, I'm having to stream with my phone. So it may have some buffering or whatever. As a matter of fact, let me see if I am. And of course, I'm not on Wi-Fi. That would probably help. And if I switch to Wi-Fi, it would probably blink out on you guys. I don't know for sure. It shouldn't, but it might. So at any rate, thank you, Sierra. Every so often I get fancy and try and get it all super straight and then end up working and sweating it out. So yeah, it's crazy around here. Um, let's see. Eliseo Cruz from New York. Hello, Jacqueline Patrick Benson. Hello. How are you? Walk by Faith. Hello from Houston. I hope you and your family is safe and everyone's doing good down there. Patricia Husky. Hey, love. How are you? Welcome and thank you for being a YouTube Hoop Group member. Deborah Chandler. Hello. Thank you for joining us this evening. And Miss Andrea Ross. Hello. Happy Sunday evening to you as well. And thank you for being a YouTube Hoop Group member. Jackie Maddox, hello from Maryland. Eartha Lewis, hey Miss Eartha Lewis. Betty Stetcher, hello. Embroidery Diva says, yeah, Eve. PJ Coppage, all is well here in Atlanta. Thanks for asking. You're welcome. I'm glad to hear that. Teresa McNeil, hello. Good evening to you as well. And thank you, Yamake. I appreciate that very much, actually. Shika Dixon just started watching. Thank you. I appreciate that. And thank you for the feedback. And I appreciate you taking time to join us this evening. Linda says jumped off back in and the sound and voice is much better. Okay, cool. Thank you for letting me know that. Julie says hello from Puerto Rico. Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us from across the water. Olivia Marin, hello, how are you? Contessa Harris, hello, and thank you as well for being a YouTube group member. Diana Henderson, hello, how are you? And El Torre, hello, welcome. Thank you for joining us. So you guys, yeah, I appreciate you joining us live this evening. I don't have anything like super fancy to discuss this evening, but a thought did come across because I was browsing the mini groups that we're in. And Beverly Brown, thank you for joining the Hoop Group crew. Oh my gosh, that's totally awesome. And you know what that means? By joining the Hoop Group crew, you also get the new baby bell because you're joining as a new member. So thank you very much. Yeah, we got want to say congratulations and thank you, Miss Beverly Brown, for joining as a YouTube Hoop Group member. I really appreciate that. Thank you so very much. And No Average Girl Stewart says hello from Alabama, Mama 12. Hey, Mama 12. Kathy Stewart says watch many times, never join the conversation. Well, thank you for joining the conversation. That's what we want. We want folks to join in, weigh in, give their feedback, because this is a group for all of us. This isn't just a me show. This is not the whole point. Oh, you know what? Let me see. Did it do it again? No, it didn't do it again. This is not a show that's just for me. No, that ain't work. Do fly cheese and stuff on this darn thing. It's crazy. I'm sorry, I just found something new and now I don't know how to get rid of it. Oh, wait a minute. Yas. Okay, sorry. Sheila Cushion. Hi, Sheila Cushionberry. How are you? Welcome. Miss D Purple One, hello. And Miss Pearl Lucas, hello. How are you? Love to see the familiar names and faces in the group. But yes, if you are in here and you would like to give feedback, you would like to comment, please feel free to do so. Don't be ashamed. We don't do the shaming thing here, and no bullying and anything of that magnitude. No question is dumb. And feel free, you can ask questions and you can say hi, like Miss Margaret Massey. Hello, welcome, and thank you for joining us. So you guys, it is but I was browsing through the mini embroidery Facebook groups, because that's when I do have the small window of free time that I come across. I will go on Facebook outside of the hoop group and look at other embroidery groups and see what's all out there and what's going on. And one of the things that struck me was someone mentioned they got a new machine recently. They wanted to know what they needed to do. She was like, hey, I got a new machine, what now? And I thought that was a really cool question to ask, because if you don't know, then you don't know. You get a machine because maybe you hear other people have the machine and you want to try it out, or anything along those lines. And so what we want to do is try and help make that process a little easier for whomever decides they want to delve into embroidery. And also that calls to mind if you're interested in actually creating a business out of it as well. So that's one of the cool things that I have found in developing this channel, that a lot of times the folks that are delving into embroidery, they want to start a business, right? So that's what, so that's what we're going to try and help. And hopefully, let me take the case off my phone, because I'm going to put you guys on this stand. Really, yeah, sorry. I disconnected y'all, my bad. There we go, y'all. Hands free, look, mine, no hands. Okay, sorry about that. I touched the power button and you know that makes the phone go to sleep. So then I plug the phone back in and boom, there we go. All right, let's turn it this way so y'all can see the baby in the background. So here we go today. Leslie Graham from Texas. Hello, Jackie Howard. Hello, Scooby-Doo. Hi, Scooby-Doo. Thank you for joining us and being a YouTube Hoop Group member. Always appreciate that. Latasha, thank you for confirming it's a safe environment. We definitely appreciate that, because it is. Patricia Miller from South Carolina, welcome. Walk by Faith says she's new to embroidery and here to learn. Well, welcome. Thank you for joining us as an opportunity to help you learn and get started in the fascinating world of embroidery, something we absolutely love here in this channel. Linda says, today I embroidered a wide brim straw hat that my hubby wanted me to embroider. Turned out okay-ish. At least I didn't break the hat. Well, congratulations on not breaking the hat. And straw hats can be a lot of fun. You got to hold your mouth right, so to speak, and make sure that you don't get all that extra hat in the way. We'd love to see pictures of it. So you guys, if you're new here, we do have a Facebook group where you're welcome to join on Facebook. It's the Hoop Group, or you can look it up under the baby's booty and it should pull up. And it is free to join. There's no membership fee there. We also have our website, thebabiesbooty.com, where you can join there as well. And it's a forum type environment, and it's free of charge as well. You can join there. And then here on YouTube, we have a membership that you can join and be a member of our channel. They get extra perks, they get files. Well, there's levels, but the highest level, the captains, they get a file every month. And we're getting back into doing our tutorial videos with those captains every month. So look for that to come, because it's the end of the month. It's coming up the end of the month this week. And so your new file should be going out by the end of the week. So be sure to look out for that for those of you who want to become a captain. Diane Poeg, hello, how are you? I hope I didn't butcher your name. Nick Nack Nurse, hey dear, how are you? EJ's daughter, hello. Sterling Styles, hey babe, how are you? How are things going with the oh god, I want to say Metro, but that's not the right Melco. How are things going with the Melco? Julia from UK, hey my dear, how are you? Jane from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, hello, how are you? And Georgia Welt from Missouri, welcome. Thank you for joining us this evening. So you guys, for those of you in here who are already into embroidery, doing embroidery, and I know here on this channel we do a lot with other avenues. And Avery's Creations, welcome to the Hoop Group crew. Thank you for joining us here, and you get the awesome purple battery. Congratulations. Welcome, Avery's Creations. We love having you here, and thank you for joining us here on the Baby's Booty channel as a member. We definitely appreciate the support. Embroidery Diva and Sierra Martin is welcoming Miss Pam there. Thank you for joining us. So you guys, for those of you in here who are in doing the embroidery, or some do bling, some do vinyl, and some are doing sublimation, which ones are business owners? Because for those of you who have actually decided to make this a business, a form of income, I need you guys' support in this specific episode of our live show tonight, because I can say all day long how things worked out for me. But the more voices that weigh in and say, yeah, that worked for me, or no, that didn't work for me, that helps those new ones in here who are looking to endeavor and delve rather into being a business based off of the crafts that they do. So we're going to answer some questions. We're going to get just a smidge personal, not super personal, but a lot of times one of the main questions that I get quite frequently is, how did I start my business, and how did I get to this point? And so we'll touch on that just a smidge. But for the most part, we'll go into the arena of how my business has developed over the years, and what I chose to do in order to get it to the place where the business sustained itself. Now, I will go ahead and let you know right off gate, just right off gate, ain't no point in sugarcoating it. It took a couple of years. Now, it was not an overnight success type thing. Now, recently, there was an opportunity, a window of opportunity over the last couple of months, where if you were getting into embroidery or sublimation or something like that, and you wanted to start a business, the last couple of months would have been an excellent time, especially if you already had the equipment, because the mask industry just kind of blew up on everybody. And I won't say it was out the blue, because I kind of saw it coming, and I tried to let folks know even way back, early in the year, hey y'all, if you're really wanting to make some money, this is a way to do so and start a business, because I knew the potential of having customers and having income and have a demand for your product was going to be there. So if you were one of those ones who jumped on that bandwagon back when I suggested it then, speak up and let folks know how that has worked out for you, because I know for myself, I ended up almost inundated to overwhelmed status with doing masks at one point. And had I not had to stop and put a halt on everything because I needed to relocate, I'd still probably be going somewhat strong. Now, unfortunately, at this point in the game, the industry, the environment, the market rather, the market is saturated with masks. Okay. As a matter of fact, we have the pre-made ones now, that you can get from overseas. They're starting to jump on the, trendy masks, and they're sending those over. And then a lot of people ended up getting into sublimation, and they started selling the sublimation mask. Now, that is still a very viable market. The sublimation industry is very, very still very strong. If you're interested in getting into sublimation, if you haven't already, the problem is though is finding the equipment to do the sublimation with. That's what's a bit of a challenge at this point in time, because to find a inexpensive printer so that you can start with a low out-of-pocket cost is going to be very difficult to do. And then the cost of the printers now have gone up because the demand for those have increased. So at any rate, that's one part of our conversation for tonight, is helping those who are interested in starting a business, whether it be for embroidery or whether it be for sublimation or just to give this thing a shot and see what we can do with it. We're here to help guide you in that. So we have Miss Heather Butler in here with us tonight, and she has decided to join us on our Hoop Group crew on YouTube. So we want to thank her and welcome her in. Congratulations. Yes, thank you, Miss Heather. We appreciate you joining us on the Hoop Group ship here on YouTube. And thank you for supporting our channel. We definitely appreciate it. So let me grab some more out of the chat real quick and say hello to everyone. Let's see. So Ty Mario from New York City, welcome. Iris Diaz, welcome. Miss Ethel Smith, hey dear, how are you? Welcome. And thank you for being a YouTube group member as always. Sharon Jester, hello. Lachelle Moore from Kansas City, hello, welcome. Miss Nancy Faust from Iowa, welcome. Treasure Designs LLC says, hello, E from Columbus, Georgia. Found a Singer Fashion Mate 257 in a thrift mall. Works beautifully. That's what's up. Those are always excellent finds. When you can find a deal on a machine and it works, that's awesome sauce always. Because one of the things I do know and have done myself and would recommend for someone who is trying to start a business, if you can come across a small deal like that, it can help boost your business. Because for myself, I started out paying full price for my 4x4 embroidery machine. That's the machine I started with from Walmart of all places. They had a Black Friday sale and I bought my machine, and it took me a year to get it out the box and do something with it that was productive, but I did get it out the box eventually and do some embroidery with it. However, as I started to grow in orders and stuff, I needed a new machine because one machine just wasn't keeping up with the demand. So what I did was I turned to Craigslist and found a used machine and got it for less than half of what I paid for the new one. So in instances like that, yes, you're taking a chance. And especially if you can find a really, really good deal, you are taking a chance, but it can help you in getting your business up and running with additional equipment without having to pay a huge out-of-pocket cost. I actually have been in the market looking for a heat press to add to the studio, because my current heat press is starting to act a little funky, but it is 3 years old. If I'm not mistaken, I'm gonna have to look that up to make sure I'm not fibbing. But the heat press, I'm looking to get another, and the prices out there, y'all, woo, they're not cheap. But at the same time, I could look for a used one, but with a piece of equipment, in my opinion, for what I'm needing it for, I don't want to take that big of a chance just yet on a used heat press. So unless someone got it and they're like, we just not going to do any business with it. Now, those instances, yes, you find a deal because somebody bought an embroidery machine, thought they were going to like it, and ended up hating it. So that was one of my machines that I did get used off Craigslist. The guy was like, I bought it from my wife 8 months ago and she is yet to touch it. And I'm like, dude, I understand. It took me a while to touch mine, but so they had worked it out and he sold it. And so I hope she's okay. I'm hoping she was okay, but he did get rid of it at a steal. So that's where one of my machines came from. So with it being a deal like that, that's not a bad thing. Miss Social Deb, hey my dear, how are you? Welcome and thank you for being a YouTube Hoop Group member. Glow Hodges, hello, welcome. Inspiration Creation says, I'm still sewing masks from 7 a.m. to midnight with very few breaks. It's craziness. Yes, it has been. Leah, hey dear, how are you? EJ's daughter says, yes, I'm still making masks, but it has slowed down. No sublimation, just sewing them. And I've been doing, I haven't sewn. I do the embroidered ones, but I do sublimate. Sheila Cushionberry, how are you? Welcome. She says, raining here and starting to have buffering issues. Hope I don't lose you. I hope not either. Welcome. It's all right. No worries. It's all right. I promise. Embroidery Diva, welcome. Saying welcome. Sorry. Shirley Stewart says, I'm still sewing custom embroidered masks. Awesome. That's what's up. I am too, but it's for business orders more so than anything. JR Printonfield, hello. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. Scooby Doo says it's 91 in Cali. So, ooh, sorry to hear that because it was kind of hot like that today here too. Bernadette Hunt says, shouting from Jamaica, New York. Welcome. Welcome. Kay Lynn says, hello. Hey, Joni Thurman. How are you? Welcome. Trisha says, hi, everyone. Waving from Southern California. So nice to see you. And you, hello. Welcome. Thanks for joining us this evening. So Crafty says she bought a convection oven for sublimation. Now, that's awesome. So with the convection oven, yes, you can get into it with convection, especially for mugs and cups, tumblers, hard items like that. But shirts, of course, it's going to be kind of difficult to put a shirt in convection oven, so you can't do those. But the hard items, yes, you can. And some folks would prefer to do that over doing the shirts. So it's understandable. No Average Girl Stewart says, where's the info regarding the YouTube group? The information is a couple of places. Unfortunately, it depends on what device you're watching the live on. So if it's a cell phone, I'm kind of lost on how to tell you where it is. But if it's on a laptop, you should be able to see right beside where it says subscribe. There should be a blue button that says join. And you click there and you should be able to join. Now, otherwise, you can always go to our channel membership page directly by coming to our main page, and then at the end of our channel ID just put /join and it'll go straight to our membership page. Betty Stetcher, it says it took me 2 months. 2 months is a lot shorter than what it took me. Shirley Stewart says, I invested in a sublimation printer to take advantage of the mask business as well. My business is still very small but steady. Every time I complete an order, another one comes. God is good. And that's pretty much how I found it goes, because that word of mouth or the referral from the constant orders, that's what keeps it. And slow and steady wins the race, honestly. It's not the mass pandemonium, oh my gosh, because it's been evident in a couple of businesses that I've seen, not just embroidery related, but just business in general, who were able to harness the energy of what was going on during the pandemic, and their business actually just like imploded. All right. And these are pretty known businesses in our industry. And it's funny how at certain points with both businesses, a few times actually, during their explosion or implosion, they couldn't keep up with the business. And folks were like scrambling, trying to find, how do we get more, because you don't have enough to keep up with us. And they're looking all around, and that hurt a couple of them, not a whole lot, because they still had their loyal customers. but it does hurt because those are sales that they've lost. So yes, that could cause a bit of a problem for some people if it does blow up like that. So slow and steady, in my opinion, is better anyway, because you don't lose your sanity or have anxiety attacks. Or at least that's what I found out. What embroidery machine will you walk by faith? I'm not sure. Let me scroll down and see what embroidery machine would you suggest for a beginner. Okay, so for a beginner, I answer this question the same every single time because of I try to be aware of what's going on in a person's life. I'm never going to just suggest get a red line, although I'm going to suggest get a red line if you can. But the thing is, you have to base your answer on your budget. All right. So if you have the budget for it, and before we leave the live tonight, I'm going to drop something on you guys that I think would be helpful for certain ones of you if you have started this as a business, okay? And it's pretty heavy. You might already know about it, but I'm going to drop it anyway and let you know something that has proven to be insurmountably instrumental and overly helpful for my business recently, and I want to let you all know about it if you don't already know, because I'm tripping at how awesome it was, like a blessing that came out the blue. So, and it was needed. But anyway, we'll get into that shortly to help your business. It helped my business and it'll help yours too. um but when it comes to purchasing an embroidery machine, you want to be sure that your purchase is based off of your budget. All right. So, one of the worst things people do is they'll get into a whole bunch of debt. They're like, I'm going to go into business and this is what I'm going to do. And then they may have some credit or access to some credit, and then they'll jump into a large amount of debt in order to buy this piece of equipment, that piece of equipment, or whatever, and end up where they're too overhead with debt versus what's coming in because they didn't take the time to build up their business, right? So if you're going to be a beginner, all right, and trying to start a business, and you have a very, very low budget, so I'm talking like no more than $500 to invest, then I would suggest to you go ahead and just start with the small 4x4 embroidery machine. The reason why I tell people that, if they have a low budget, all right, and they don't have the funds to swing for a larger machine, the reason why I say that is because you don't want to go into debt for this larger machine and then use it, try it out, and get frustrated because either you can't figure it out, or it's a lot more involved than what you thought it was, or you just not feeling doing embroidery, or you got this piece of equipment now and where's your customers? Where are you getting them? You thought you had access to folks who would be more than willing to use your embroidery services, and they're not there. Right? Or they're all of a sudden disappeared, like friends and family. Yeah, we gonna buy from you. We gonna, and then all of a sudden crickets. Like, where y'all at? You said you would support me, and that's the thing. You can't rely on family and friends. I'm telling you now, you cannot. Right? It's not saying that they won't be good customers for you, but as a whole, your main part of your business is going to come from outside of your blood relative and friends circle. You want folks actually outside of that circle. I'm telling you now, you really do. Every so often, doing business and making things for family and friends is okay. It's nothing wrong with that, but you will gain the greater satisfaction from folks outside of that circle, because the expectation level is like uber high for those who have known you for quite some time, and their expectation that you will look out for them sometimes is higher than it would be for, say, someone on the street who doesn't know you and they're looking for a service. They'll be like, okay, well, how much do you charge? That's what you charge? Okay, well, let's do this. Whereas family and friends is like, I need the hook up. Look out for me, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. If you're willing to do that, that's okay. And that's on you to make that decision. But if you're really trying to start a business, the hookup is not the way to get it going. Trust me, because I've tried that way, because I do like doing things for folks and helping folks get a deal. But what I found out was I was burning myself financially more so than trying to help other people, and it was robbing me of the joy of running my business. So use your budget that you can afford, purchase something small, let it build up your business, let it get the word out that you can do embroidery. Because contrary to popular belief, although the machine is small and your field area for embroidery is small, you can do a whole lot with that little bit of space. You really can. And I was able to build the business off of that small field of space. That 4x4 really helped me take off. So what you would need to do is find the things that fit for that machine. So you would do embroidery, say for instance, logos on shirts, like the left chest logo. Those are generally small. So find the ones where they're a pretty decent size, no larger than 3.8 inches, and do those. Make money off of those. There's a lot of small businesses out there who would love to have polo shirts or sweatshirts with their logo right here on the left chest. I mean, who do you see out there? Lawn care guys, they're out there. Hey, what's your name? You do lawn care? I have embroidery. Would you like some logos for your polo shirts? I can offer them to you, and I can do them. How about it? Let me cut you a deal, you know, and maybe offer a slight deal, you know what I'm saying? Because you don't have the overhead that embroidery 101 central over there in that business office front does. They got rent to pay and lights to pay, commercial rent at that. And I was looking for a commercial space and saw what commercial rent prices are, and I'm not gonna say I was shocked because it's commercial space, but it wasn't a house payment. It was not a house payment, y'all. It was like full blown condo downtown rent, because you're doing a storefront and it's big, so you're going to pay more. So they have rent to pay, whereas you are doing this out of your home. So as long as you have a regular job, this is something you can do on the side and make money, right? Makes sense. So for the time being, start small and get your niche in, get the feel for embroidery, learn how to use your stabilizers, learn how to make sure your needles are doing what they're supposed to, keeping your machines clean. We talked about that last week. Maintaining your equipment, make sure that you can afford the thread. All right, so for the smaller machines, you don't have to buy the super huge cones of thread, which are more, by the way, than the smaller spools of thread. So it is lighter on your pockets, and you have more options out there for stabilizers that are in a handy dandy little square size that you can just throw on the machine and go on about your business, right? So that's where I'm going with. If you're trying to start out and your budget is 500 and less, then do the smaller 4x4 machine. It's not going to kill you dead. It's restrictive, but use that restriction to your advantage. Don't look at it as a disadvantage, because if so, you've already defeated yourself. Now, if your budget can go up to $800-900, well then yes, I would look for a larger machine. One of the machines I usually recommend is like the PE 770 or the PE 800 range, which is still a single needle home embroidery machine, but it goes up to 5x7, and there is a whole lot you can do with that 5x7 machine. It will carry you throughout your business. I know several folks who still have their 5x7, even though they may have an industrial or multi-needle machine running as well. So the 5x7 machine is an excellent choice. That machine is a workhorse, and just like the 4x4, very few people complain of problems out of either one of those machines. Those machines are very high quality, as far as you don't see them breaking down very often at all and folks having issues. So those are my beginner suggestions with a small budget. If you have some coins to play with and you got a good bit of money, then yes, I would definitely suggest going multi-needle. Why would I say that? If you're talking about starting a business, the multi-needle will allow you to do higher volume in a shorter period of time, and it also will help you with being able to expand your inventory of things that you can offer to your customers, because the 4x4 and the 5x7, yes, you can embroider on hats with those machines. You got to hold your mouth right. You got to be able to know how to keep that thing flat and hold it and all kind of crooked and all this way and that to make sure it doesn't shift at all and break a needle or a bird's nest up under you or mess up the embroidery altogether. Once you learn how to do hats, you can. But with this, it has the cap driver. You just stick the cap on, it rotates, embroiders on it, you take it off, snatch it off, and go on about your business. Also, the red line has 2 sets of hoops that come with it. So while one hat is over here embroidering, you can have the next hat already getting it hooped and ready to go, so that as soon as you pull this one off, you stick the next one on, and so on and so forth. And that's the same for regular embroidery as well. So you get an extra set of hoops for even your flat embroidery, right? So the industry is primed and ready for you to take off with your business with an industrial machine. That's the better option. Yes, there are other multi-needle machines out there. I also have a 6-needle machine. I absolutely love my machine. She's Blessing, and she was a name brand machine that a lot of folks are familiar with. This is my 6-needle. But what people usually fail to realize is, and yes, there's all kind of little fancy doohickeys and screens and stuff with this one, but the same price for this one is the same price for that one. The price is no different. The price is not different. This one was $8,000. As a matter of fact, I had it dropped to $8,000 because I opted out of the software because I had Sew It Pro. It would have been $9,000. This machine is $79.95. All right, so you have options of things that you can do out there, and you have choices that you can make. There are other embroidery machine options out there. This one, I have had quite a good bit of success with it. Very few issues at all. As a matter of fact, no issues really. It's just taking the time to learn a new machine because I was used to the 6 needles. But once I learned, it's a wrap. This machine, I go to it first, throw stuff on it first. I can do 2 of one job that I take to do one job on that one. So absolutely love my machine. So if you can swing that, and there's a very good possibility, that some of you who have started a business can swing this, and we'll talk about that a little bit later in the show, to a financial option that's out there that I came across and was like, wow, I didn't think it applied to me, but it did, and it has really helped. So I want to share that with you guys as well. Karen Murray says, in business 10 years doing summer festivals, embroidered t-shirts. I watched her live for the first time. You were doing masks. Have made over 900 so far. Masks saved my business this season. I've heard that as well over and over, because the rest of the embroidery business, as far as like pillows and hats and shirts, a lot of other businesses were out of business. So for those who did commercial embroidery, they didn't have anybody to do commercial embroidery for. And I don't know if your area was like this area, where so many businesses ended up folding. They really ended up just like shutting their doors because they couldn't keep up, with no business. When they were forced to shut their doors for the COVID, it dried up the bank accounts. So yes, a lot of folks ended up out of work, unfortunately, but the masks helped save the embroiderers or the crafters, because they were able to fill in with that. So I am very glad to hear, Karen Murray, that it worked that well for you as well as it did for me. Walk by Faith said, oh, I'm sorry, I already answered that. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. Miss Sheila says, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Sierra Martin says, I got mine from a shop that had layaway, but the person never finished paying it off. So I got a good deal. That is a good deal. Oh my gosh. That's an excellent deal. You got part of it paid for you, girl. That's what's up. How about need to ring the bell for that? Matter of fact, we like deals around here, so congratulations on that. Soul Deep Designs by Sherry. Good evening. How are you? Yes, we are well here, and I hope everything is well with you as well. Bernadette Hunt, I just received my SE 600. Have to make room for it. So congratulations to you, Bernadette, on your SE 600. Yeah, congratulations on your new baby. We like babies around here. Scooby Doo say, Harpo, who that man? That is a family friend. He is here helping my daughter get her bathroom put together. Real quick personal thing. The house has been amazing. Absolutely love my new home. It has been a work in progress though, because there's a lot that comes with a pre-owned home. It's not brand new stick built, but that's what I love about it, because you have your own little hidden gems that we've been coming across and we're like, wow, that's really cool. So like we're finding there's carpet in the bedrooms, but when we pull the carpet up, there's beautiful hardwood floors under there, and that's just been phenomenal. So we've been going through taking care of that, and just little nuances that come with a home, and you're like, oh, we gotta work on that. But then once you start working on it, it's like really coming together as your own space. So that's what also has been going on in here. We'll take a quick time out and go over that again, because I have been touching on the subject just about every time over the last, since we moved in. So it's been about 2 weeks now. This is the third week, if I'm not mistaken, that I've streamed live from the house. So this is the studio, and I've shown it in the past, and I haven't done too terribly much that's super different in here yet, but we got the machines up and going. Okay, and it's a little bit dark on the other side of the room, but I had, now see, that's what I wanted to do before, and the dumb thing wouldn't do it. Now I know how to do it. We had a cabinet over here, and I put a picture up in the Facebook group. And I do have some video footage that we're going to make a video showing the transition from the old space to the new space. But we had a cabinet there. Me and my honey, we did some demolition and tore it out yesterday, I think, or day before. And so now I brought my cutting tables in here, which is really cool, because in the old space, the cutting tables were in the warehouse part of my studio. So my studio was a single car garage, but it had an apartment on the back. So the single car garage was where all my equipment was, my sewing machines and stuff like that. But in the single car garage part, that's where the cutting tables were. So now, instead of it being a detached garage from the house, everything is in the house now, which is really, really, really cool. And this is a sunroom. So there's windows all around, as I've shown before, and full of light, and just absolutely wonderful. I was able to go on Amazon and do something a little bit fun on this ledge. There's a ledge that goes all the way around the room, and I share a little bit of space with the doggies, so I have that over there. But and it's crazy now because I'm having to also figure out where I'm gonna put stuff, because I had more storage, it would seem, in the other space, but I also had shelves and stuff that are still in storage right now, because unpacking has been a hot food mess. I'm too old to unpack. I'm just too old for it. It's crazy. But so that part we're trying to get to come together, but for the most part, everything's just really coming along. I hope to get painted and have my hoops up and my thread up soon. But it's taking time because I'm also getting back into doing orders. So today we've been processing orders all day, Yesterday, I was trying to process orders, but I ended up doing maintenance on the machines, both machines. I changed all the needles. I cleaned all of them out, the bobbin areas. I tuned up my bobbins, made sure the tension was good on the bobbins. I checked the tension on all 15 needles of the machine, and then on the 6 needle, rethreaded. I didn't change the needles, but I cleaned out the bobbin area. I didn't get to oil anything because I couldn't find my oil, but I found some today, this evening. So I'll probably go back and oil later this evening. But so yesterday I couldn't really work, but today we did get a good bit of work done after getting the machines back in tip-top condition. So it's been really cool. It's been a challenge, but it's a lot of fun, and I've actually really enjoyed it. So hopefully soon I'll be back all the way in the swing of things and not losing my mind over cardboard boxes, because I have tons and tons of cardboard boxes. I didn't realize how much crap I had until it was time to unpack every bit of it. Heather Butler says, every live you almost taught me in the sublimation. Now my husband is encouraging it. Girl, sublimation is fun. And if you can get a hold to the inexpensive equipment, meaning like the Epson home printer, and can refill your own cartridges and stuff like that, yes, you can get into it on the professional level and get like a Sawgrass or a printer that's made for sublimation. The cost is way higher. So you're talking about a startup for just your basic Epson home printer, changing it over yourself, whatnot. Maybe about $450, maybe $500 for that kit. Whereas going with a full-blown sublimation, an actual sublimation printer, you're looking at about anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000, 2,500, something like that, depending upon the size of the printer. So if you're looking, comparing somewhat apples to apples as far as size of printouts, your Epson home printer, the 7720, usually does 13 by 19. I don't even know why I say usually. It does 13 by 19. Whereas the Sawgrass or the Ricoh, to get those type printers, or the Epson sublimation printer, the new printer, $2,500 roughly, something like that. So sublimation is fun, and if you can get in on the low end and see the business build up and grow and have fun with it, that's really cool. And then you can look into investing in the larger or the more official machines if you wanted to. Soul Deep says, Scooby-Doo, hope all is well. Yes, Scooby-Doo, that's true, actually. Soul Deep, thank you for bringing that up. I hope everything is calming down. We just had a tragic situation in our family yesterday, so I totally can relate somewhat to losing family members. Beverly Brown says, I just sold my sublimation printer. I only used it once, so I felt it was taking up space. Again, awesome idea, awesome move, business move, because that's one of the things my CFO has taught me. If I'm not using it as much, then why do I have it? If I'm not going to be using it and putting it into the rotation, then it's time to move on to something else. Now, the one thing I haven't really been listening with that on is like the Silhouette, because I haven't really been using the Silhouette or the Brother Scan and Cut. But what I'm finding is when it's time for me to use either one of those machines, they come in super handy and they work great. And I already have them, so, and they're small. They have a small footprint, so that doesn't really bother me too much. But other things that I've been doing, yes, we are going to downsize and get rid of a lot of stuff, which I learned is very important if you have to move. If you have to move, stockpiling and keeping inventory is a pain in the patootie. So we're going to slim down some stuff around here. So I'm actually going to do what is it called? Can't think of the name, when you offer your extra stuff and other people can take advantage of it because they have a business too. So we're going to be doing that soon. Miss Bickham, hey love, how are you? Welcome. Sorry for taking forever because I did get on a business soapbox right there. Lil Nelson, I'm still sewing masks, plain and my custom embroidery designs as well, but I slowed myself down by not posting anymore on Facebook. Afraid to post again because I don't want to get overwhelmed. Wow. See, and that's the thing. I didn't even post on Facebook and was getting overwhelmed. And I'm running from people and they still tracking me down. It's like, oh my God, I'm tired of masks. But it's bringing in income. And when I definitely needed it, it was there. Marge Campbell, hello, my dear. How are you? DTC Queen, hello from Allendale, South Carolina. Welcome from Allendale, South Carolina. Luz says, so Crafter 65, hello from Las Vegas. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Let us see. Jojo Imo says, I have a Redline Mini 12. Love it. That's what's up. That is a really awesome machine. Thought about getting it myself, but we'll have to see. But yes, that Mini 12 looks like it's a fun machine. Sonia Siegler, hello, how are you? Gail Whitaker says, amen. Definitely outside the circle. That's funny. Nina Walk, hello, my dear. How are you? Marge Campbell, totally agree. Learn all you can with the smaller machine. All you learn will transfer to a larger machine later on, which is definitely true. I appreciate that point, Marge Campbell, because once you get the basics down of your stabilizer and hooping and all that jazz, yes, it does translate over to these guys. And it does make life a lot simpler in learning how to use those machines. And like another friend that has the multi-needle machine, she also has the 5x7, and she even mentioned she likes embroidering on the 5x7 better than the larger machines, because it's just so much that you have to do and keep in mind and whatnot with the larger machines. So I've mentioned that many times before. You can go back and check in the lives when we're talking about embroidery machines and equipment, the difference financially and headache wise in dealing with a multi-needle machine versus a smaller machine. But the other part to that is, if you're really trying to have a business that's going to have volume, then multi-needle is definitely the way to go, even despite the other stuff that goes on with it. Laura Martinez, I have a PE 800. I'm a newbie and not comfortable with the machine. Well, we're going to have to get you comfortable with that, baby. Because the PE 800 is actually a really easy machine to get into and to use. All right. So we're looking, again, still to try and find us one so that we can have some fun with you. Sandy Fincham says, good evening. Thank you for doing these blogs every week. You're welcome. Thank you for joining us every week. I definitely appreciate that. Heather Butler, I recommend starting on a 4x4 brother. It is a good one. It is a good one. March Campbell, let's see. Thank you again. You're welcome, Valerie. How are you? EJ's daughter, I got my used PE 770 last month. Less than 50,000 stitches and came with 4 hoops. Having fun now. You got a deal and a steal on top of it. All in one. That's what's up. Trinina Lot. Hello. What is the best way to price embroidery items? Is that the brand name Blessing? No, Kathy Stewart. That's her name. Her name is Blessing. Trinina says, what is the best way to price embroidery items? A lot of that depends on what you're doing as far as the embroidery items. So, for instance, if you're doing a shirt, a basic polo shirt with a fairly simple logo, I generally price based on stitch count. That's easier said than done in some ways, because what generally happens is the customer comes to you with an image and say, hey, this is my logo and I need it embroidered on a shirt. And that means you need to have it changed over into embroidery stitches. So if they just have a picture of a logo, how do you know how many stitches it takes to actually embroider? You don't know, not until it's actually digitized, right? So once you have it digitized, he can't come out this door. That's fine.
Making too much noise.
It's all right.
Hey, howdy.
Y'all remember Rebecca, of course.
No, they don't.
Yes, they remember Rebecca. Trust me, I promise you, they remember Rebecca.
So we can finish this. We done had to unbolt this thing how many times?
Oh,
3.
No. They're, like I said, remodeling the bathroom. Why are you having to unbolt it 3 times?
Cause
The pipe isn't
the pipe
lining
wouldn't
up.
fit.
I told them that pipe wouldn't
Right,
fit.
we didn't check that. So slide it over to drill through holes. Drill into the same holes, and that's too big. And then broke the little slidey jacket that goes in the wall. So now he's gonna have to go get another one. At this point, we just go both of them to the wall.
Oh my God. So you just gonna, oh my God. So when you go to wash your hands, it's all gonna fall apart, right?
Possibly.
Oh my God. Anyway, folks will learn to listen to mothers
What you
sometimes.
say? Guess what? Whose bathroom is gonna be cute? Not yours.
Eventually, my bathroom will be super cute
But not
after I
through your
paint it.
own hands. Not through your own hands.
No, because I still have to reroute a little bit of plumbing in my bathtub in order to get it to work. But I'm going to go with a regular shower. TMI, I'm sure, but it's no worries.
What you mean? It's a bathroom. They
don't want to hear about my bathroom. They want to hear about red lines.
Okay, red line ain't out here remodeling bathroom.
No, they're not.
Well, do better.
Red line shut down right now.
I know.
Because COVID, how about, yeah, I reached out to Redline. I know somebody was asking how to get in touch with Redline on Facebook, but their COVID thing is really bad in Texas.
I thought it was rich.
No, that don't have anything to do with COVID and trying to keep people safe.
North Carolina don't care.
Yeah, North Carolina doesn't seem to care. But Texas, they're saying the numbers were really bad, and I don't know that could be
Florida's
the case
numbers
or
is
not.
bad too. Guess whose beaches is still open?
Yeah, well, they probably figured that more folks will be out and about than standing around looking at embroidery machines, I'm sure. So, but at any rate, that's what's going on here right now. But yeah, so back to what I was saying. The best way to price embroidery items, once you get the stitch count. All right, so customers are like, we want to know how much it is to put this on the shirt. Well, I can't tell you until I get your item digitized. So you have to charge to have it digitized if you don't do it yourself, in order to see what your stitch count is. So that's a little pain in the butt. You can kind of guesstimate, but what I've learned, guesstimating sucks. Don't do it. You'll end up losing money. But at any rate, so stitch count is how I personally charge rather. And I've gone from $1 per 1,000 to $1.25 per 1,000. A lot of it also depends on the industry in your area. I used to keep a couple of cards showing local folks and how much they charged in the Charlotte area. I mean, like companies, brick and mortar, storefront type situations, so that you guys could see what they charge. And what you want to do is kind of put yourself in that same ballpark. Don't undercut major their prices, because you're offering the same services and you don't have that overhead. So look at that as a benefit for you. But at the same time, you also want to be competitive. You don't want to overprice or underprice yourself out of some business. So or underprice yourself out of sanity. I'll put it that way, because that's usually what happens. So I, again, about $1.25 per 1,000 is what I tend to stay in that range. So once you find out what that is, now you need to move to the arena of what are you embroidering? Because if you're doing a hat, then that $1.25 per 1,000 may not pan out very well for you, because you have to do so much more work to embroider on a ball cap. All right. So you might want to add to that. So, it's $1.25 per 1,000, but if it's a ball cap, there's an extra fee of $5 or $4 or whatever the case may be, if you choose to do that. Also, if you're doing like in the hoop items, hand sanitizer holders, lip balm holders, keychains, anything in the hoop type situation, well, that $25 or whatever per 1,000 really isn't going to work there either, because otherwise a lot of times those in the hoop items are very little stitches. It's actually the vinyl together that makes the item. So you don't want to go that low and charge $2, because it's only 2,000 stitches to it to even put the thing together. That doesn't make sense either. So you have to look at what you're embroidering, and how many stitches there are that's involved. So once you get a good feel for what you got going on, then you can go and price from there. um I know that wasn't me saying if you're doing hats, they should be $10 each. If you're doing shirts, they should be $20 each. No, I'm not going to tell you how to charge for your items, because where you live might be completely different financial footprint than where I live. All right. So in the city of Charlotte, where I was, um, everything there was more expensive than where I am now. I've moved out to a more rural spot. So the things people want out here and what they're going to be willing to pay for is going to be different. It's not going to be the same. So my prices are going to have to reflect that as well. So you need to keep that in mind. Also, me charging for something here in Charlotte versus charging for something up in New York City, completely different. All right. So we all know the price range for things up north is going to be a lot higher than they are here in the south. So you shouldn't find someone saying this is what you should charge, because you need to figure out your business strategy for your area and let that be your guide. Check with your local embroidery studios, call them up and say, hey, I'm interested in getting a hat done. What do you charge? That's a good place to start. See what about 2 or 3 or 4 of them charge, and that'll help you understand how they've been able to be successful with their business in your area and price accordingly. All right. I hope that helped answer somewhat of your question. But I can't be more direct than that because, again, it's pretty much up to your area and how things are going to translate there. Gail Whitaker says, as a newbie, I got the NQ1600E. I am loving it. Congratulations. That is a totally awesome machine. Michelle Rosencrans, good evening. Glad I caught you live. I'm very glad you caught us live as well. Sherry Bazaar recently got a baby lock and brilliance too. Couldn't be happier. Well, Sherry, let's ring the bell for your new baby. And so, if those of you who are telling me you got certain machines, if you got them recently and we haven't rang the bell for you, let me know. Even if you're a new viewer, you still want to celebrate getting a new baby. So point that out. Now, maybe a minute before I get down there to see what you got to say and ring the bell for you. But if you got one, say, hey, I did get a new baby recently. This is what it is. So we can ring the bell properly for you. So Sherry, congratulations on your new baby lock and brilliance. Congratulations. Yes. And we do ring the bell for printers and crickets too. So keep that in mind. JR Printenfield says, I need a red line support group. I haven't had success getting into their Facebook group. Again, I'll have to check on that and see if they have somebody that's going to man that. I think Christian used to man that. So I'll send a text over to Valerie and see what's going on. Sherry says, love your videos and tutorials. Thank you so much for all your advice. You're welcome. Thank you very much for joining us and listening into our little bit of information we have here. Michelle says, I just got a brother 880. What's going on with me? A little over a month ago. Just loving it. Well, congratulations on your PE 880. Congratulations. Yes. Holler. Those babies are fun. Vera Guest says, I now have the EM 1010. It is a 10 needle. Congratulations on your 10 needle baby. That's a big baby. A lot of needles to have fun with. Scooby Doo says that light is bright over the red line. It has to be. Oh, when I tell you a heifer is blind. All right. I was like, oh my God, I can't see anything. I went to thread and could not see because that's another thing that we'll definitely be looking at, changing the lighting. It was just one light in the center of the room. So even though it's cool now, I have a ceiling fan. Put that LED light there, and then I'm gonna put one over the cutting table, and the thread wall most likely is going to be over there. Now, whether or not I'll put more lights over on this side, I'm not sure, but the cool LED strip that I kind of glossed over, I meant to point that out a little bit better, but I put one of those like disco type LED strips where it can change colors and flash colors and all that cool stuff, is running under the shelf that goes all the way around the room so that we can have some cool ambient lighting to go with when I turn on the jam session music and stuff like that. So I am looking to put LED all the way around the ceiling in here, those LED strip lights, just to have some fun. A little bit of a nuance, if you will. So that's coming as well. When I'm going to be able to get up there and do it, I don't know, but I intend to paint first that back wall and paint it white so that it helps brighten up with more light, because the older I get, the more light a heifer needs. I'm trying to tell y'all, it's rough out here. So we're going to do that. And yes, it is a very bright light. I really, unfortunately, wish it was brighter. I really do, but I take what I can get these days. EJ's daughter, thank you. I watched a lot of videos on YouTube and highly recommended it. Diane McCoy says hello from Florida. Welcome from Florida. Thank you for joining us. Marissa says, I would like to do hats. Which machine do you recommend if I can't afford the red line? If you can't afford the red line, what I would recommend is start with the flatbed single needle machine, honestly. Because there are flatbed single needle machines that have hat hoops or hat contraptions that you can use to hook a hat. Matter of fact, the 4x4 embroidery machine, Brother Embroidery Machine, Amazon has a hat hoop that actually works with it. And I do have a video on using that hat hoop on YouTube here. So if you go to the Baby's Booty hat hoop, it should pull up that video and you can see what I mean. So there's ways to do hats on the single needle machines. These guys just make short work of it. I mean, just simple candy. I can take care of this. There's no issues. This is gonna work type situation. But you can do them on the single needle machines. Keep in mind though, a lot of times folks will lead you to believe that this machine is not affordable in comparison to some of the other lesser needle machines. That's not farther from the case. So as I mentioned, this one starts out $79.95 for 15 needles. And do your homework. Please do your homework. Check your prices of what's out there. Shop around. There are other alternatives out there, but this is kind of like the starting price point, and you get a lot of bang for your buck. I haven't had any issues out of this machine. Haven't had any issues. I'm just saying. So I'm just saying that's how that goes. Embroidery, do you have Embroidery Diva? I apologize. Do you have an easy way that you use to check your tension on your multi needles? Easy way, yes and no. If I hadn't thrown it away, I would show. Actually, it's right here. So one of the things that I do, which I have a video on, how to do a tension test on the single needle machines. And what my tension test suggestion is like a bunch of capital letter I's, basically. So just a straight stick rather. And it's a satin stitch. So yes, it involves taking the time to stitch out something so that you'll know how to adjust your tension and go and check your tension. But that's what I suggest. Now, there is another option out there, and I did just purchase it as a matter of fact, but I haven't 100% learned how to use it. I know how to use it, but how to use it effectively. And my brain, I'm trying to think of where it is. And give me a second while I show you this. I'm going to still be thinking on what I did with it, because I done put it somewhere. Because there is a such thing as a tension gauge. And that's what I'm looking for. It looks like a pin, and it has a hook on the end, and you wrap thread around it, and you pull the thread from the presser foot. And when you pull the gauge, it has a spring on the inside that gives you a measurement of how much tension is on that thread in order to even pull it a little bit. And that, once you read that, it gives you what the tension is, and then you can adjust your tension accordingly without doing this. Okay, I prefer this. All right. The reason why I prefer this is because I can physically see what's going on my machine, top and bottom, without having to do anything separately. So with this, this came with the red line, all of these H's, this design, and each needle has its own letter H, except for the first and the last one, which I messed up and it ended up being two different colors, but these two should be the same color. And what it does is it does that satin stitch. All right, so the satin stitch, and I'm just gonna gloss over this. I'm sorry, I'm not spending a bunch of time on it because I do have a video on setting your tension and stuff, and I don't want to take up too much time on this because it's a pretty deep subject, pretty heavy, on how to do tension. But if you look on the back side, that's how you tell what your tension is on your machine and how it stitches out. So the back side of your embroidery, in most instances, your bobbin thread is white. I also have black bobbin thread. Sometimes I'll thread my own bobbin and have the same color top and bottom. But in this instance, you want your bobbin thread to be white for the most part so that you can see the white thread in contrast to the color thread. All right. So your bobbin thread, as you see, like in this letter H, this one is not quite 1/3. Let me see if I can find one. This is more like 1/3. So 1/3 of the lines on each stick of the H should be white for the bobbin thread. The other sections should be the color of your top thread. The other 2/3 should be the color of your top thread. If it looks like this, then your tension is great. You don't have any issues with your tension bottom or top. But if you're looking at the majority of it is white bobbin thread, like with this H, or like with this one where you don't see any bobbin thread at all you see is mostly black and that little sliver of white. Well, with this one, your top thread, let me make sure I'm telling you this, the top thread is too tight or too loose. I have a cheat sheet somewhere that I'll have to look at and tell you. But with the other one, that would, so this would be too tight, and this one, no, this one would be too loose because your top thread is commanding and overtaking your bobbin thread, so it's too loose. But this one, where your bobbin thread is winning, then your top is too tight, right? So you need to loosen your top thread so that more of your top thread can come and overpower that bobbin thread. So that's how you read your bobbin, the backside of your embroidery, to tell whether or not your tension is too tight or too loose. And satin stitches are the way to really be able to effectively see that. I just noticed my little thing. I'm sorry, y'all. It's all cloudy and fuzzy. Is it dirty? That better? Yeah, God, that looks so much better. Okay, let me show you this again. I'm sorry, I didn't realize it. All right, there you go. So you can see the H test here. And it shows you, there we go. Look at that. Zoom in live in another color. And that lets you know what your tension is and what your tension should be when it's not tight enough or it's too tight and you need to loosen it up. But this is perfect here. All right, now one day we'll get back into that and go over it in more detail again, a refresher, and show how that tension translates to this type of equipment. But as I mentioned, I do have a tension video on the 4x4 machine, and you're welcome to check that out anytime. Thank you, Embroidery Diva. L. Tori says, when I retire at 70, will that be too old to start an embroidery business? No. The majority of my viewers are 60, 70 years old. So I'm going to say no, because what that tends to do is give you something to do instead of sitting around doing nothing. Because usually, or as an older friend of mine says, when I stop, that's when they put dirt on you. So if you just keep going, give yourself something to do, something to look forward to, it has a tendency to keep you youthful and keep you motivated and going and not just sitting around twiddling your thumbs. So I'm going to say no. And in most instances, you are in a better position to not have to do business if you didn't want to. All right. Whereas a lot of these younger folks, they got bills to pay, families to pay for, mouths to feed. So they have to have business, but you can do it just because it's fun and make your money that way. Angelia says, hi, even Who Group. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. No worries. DTC Queen says, finally found the information for the Hoop Group. Thank you. We'll get you in as soon as we're done with the live. Joni D Stash. Joni Thurman. Thank you, girl. Appreciate that. I couldn't think of that earlier for nothing, but thank you for telling me. Yes, I am going to D-Stash. Beverly Smith from Cotton Valley, Louisiana, welcome. Vera Guest from Eckworth, Georgia, welcome. Ray from Mobile, Alabama, welcome. Iris says, what I meant to say is the sunroom a 4-season room, and my condolences to you and your family. Thank you. Thank you very much. It is a 4-season room, so I can be out here winter, spring, summer, and fall. It's it's not heated or whatever, but we do have the vent pointed this way. The vent is right outside the room, so if I need to, like right now, the door is open so that the air conditioner can come in, central air rather. If I get too chilly, just shut the door, whatever the case may be. But it's a complete in room, so yes, it's a 4-season sunroom. Angela says, hey, never commented here, but I am in the Hoop Group and love it. Thank you, Angela, for joining us and for chiming in. We appreciate it. We want you guys to chime in. No worries. Especially when I'm over talking and talking too much. We need somebody else to talk. Michael says, hello. Thank you so much for your videos. I've been watching them the past few weeks and I'm eagerly waiting for my PE 800. When you get that, baby, let us know so we can ring the bell for you. Shah says, Zoomy World in UK, welcome. Thank you for joining us. DTC Queen, we ordered an industrial 15 needle embroidery machine to get started on a great deal. Then we ran into another deal for a 6 needle brother embroidery machine and got that too. See, when you can do that, that's a good thing. Then we were getting into mass making and we got a Juki sewing machine and a brother serger and a 16x20 heat press and a cup press. Learning to use our new babies and need plenty of help and customers. Your videos and lives have truly been helpful in the biggest way. Thank you. You're welcome. I really appreciate that. And congratulations on everything you got going on. Yes, you got babies out the yin yang. Congratulations. That's a lot. That is a lot. You can do it though. It's just a matter of taking your time, learning your equipment, loving your equipment, and finding your niche. Once you get the right niche, you're good. You can just sit back and coast into your business and getting things done. Now, when you're scattered like me and you're into this and that and that and this, and you want to learn that and you want to learn this, that's when it gets to be a headache. So just take your time and cruise right on into doing your business and you'll do great. Let's see. Hello, newbie to embroidery. You're welcome. Thank you very much, Miss Ellen. I appreciate that. Marge says, I live in Texas. It's not bad and getting better. It's bad and not getting better. Oh my God. I'm so sorry to hear that. I worry. I have several folks that live in Texas and I kind of worry about them quite frequently. Luana Stark, hello. How are you from Southern California? Welcome. Dorothy Brown, welcome. I'm gonna breeze through this real quick because there's that tip I definitely want to give you guys, and I'm gonna jump into it here in a moment. DTC, I have a brother P 150 embroidery machine which I dabbed with and still works. Hubby said it was time because he also wanted a multi-needle embroidery machine for a while now. That's a good hubby. We like them kind of hubbies. What if there are embroidery places in my area? I'm trying to figure out monogramming on hand towels. It doesn't matter. If there's other embroidery places in your area, no worries. A lot of times they don't, okay, let me put it this way. If they're brick and mortar, in most instances, what they like to do is larger commercial jobs, like 20 ball caps for the little league team in the area, or business shirts for the dentist office down the street. That's the type business a lot of times those larger embroidery companies look for. Will they do one-off things? Most instances. But a lot of times they feel like that's just not worth their time and energy to try and set that up and get something done. Like a small wedding gift, for instance, for a friend of yours, a set of towels, maybe 4 towels. They'll do it, but you'll oftentimes find that it's overpriced. Not overpriced, let me rephrase that. It's not overpriced for them and their business because they have a mortgage, an overhead to pay for, whereas you don't. Why did my, yeah, it's charging it. Okay, sorry about that. I lost. Oh, good. I still got my chat and everything. Oh, that's a blessing. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. I don't know how I lost everybody. Oh, cool. I wasn't too far from the end anyway. Let me see. Hand towels. Okay. So with the hand towels, just go with it, offer it anyway. Especially if you have a market like a farmer's market, or if you have a place where you can set up. Sometimes that helps, offering stuff to neighbors or folks on Facebook that you might be affiliated with, and have them promote them to you. Find little mom and pop stores that may not be offering custom embroidered hand towels. Or you could also offer to real estate agents who are closing on new homes. Sometimes they're looking for a unique gift to give to some of their clients that close on their homes. Stuff like that. You have to be creative and think outside the box and think about what may not be available, or what may not be appealing to a larger embroidery company. But just because there are other embroidery companies in your area doesn't mean that you still can't make money. And the way I look at that is, in most cities, like in Charlotte, for instance, how many McDonald's are there in Charlotte? There are so many McDonald's all throughout Charlotte. It's ridiculous of how many there are, or how many gas stations. There's a gas station on that corner and one on that corner. That one's my favorite. That's the one I'm going to go to. And if something happens to that gas station, okay, well, yeah, I have that one as an option, but that one's my favorite. So you will build up your own clientele that will come to you regardless of what the other company is doing on the other side of the street. Don't worry about it. Your clientele will come. If they're meant to come to you, they'll come to you. All right. Yvonne House says, just got a new brother SE 1900. Congratulations. Congratulations on your new baby, Miss Yvonne. Welcome. Thank you for joining us and letting us know about your baby. I had to put down my knitting and start taking notes. Good information, EJ's daughter says. Oh, congratulations on your knitting. I love to knit. Hey, Tanya, how are you, my dear? Welcome. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for being a YouTube Hoop Group member. Hello from, okay, Muya Films. I'm hoping I'm saying that correct and not butchering it. I apologize. Let me know if I'm saying it wrong. But welcome. Thank you for joining us. Luana says, I'm 76 and I started my business and enjoying it. Like I said, it can be done. Miss Beckham, love you guys. Not feeling well this evening and meds are kicking in well now and have to wait later. By the way, I've got another cameo for. I'll listen to hear my bell in the replay. You know you're going to get that bell, right? Congratulations on your new cameo for. That's awesome. Beverly Smith, a newbie to embroidering, April 2020, and brought a brother SE 1900. Still so much I don't know about embroidering, but I absolutely love your tutorials. Thanks a million. Well, Miss Beverly Smith, I don't think we rang the bell for you, so congratulations. Congratulations on your baby as well. All right, so Sherry, I also got a new brother scanning cut on trade for sewing services with a friend. What software do you recommend for digitizing? First, congratulations. Congratulations on your brother's scanning cut, because that's a baby too. And digitizing software, it depends again on your budget. What can you swing? If you don't have a whole lot to sink into digitizing, because a lot of digitizing software starts at about $600-700 and goes up from there. The one I primarily use is $1,200, and that's Wilcom Hatch. But I also use So What Pro's sister software, So Art. So Art is $75, and it's more of an auto digitizer, but there's a channel, an affiliated channel with mine, Clever Dog Designs. I refer folks to her to watch on how to use So Art because she's so good at it. And she teaches that with my seminars on how to digitize with So Art. So that So Art is so much more affordable, but it's entirely up to you which route you want to take, right? So if you did So Art, you really need to watch her videos to get the most out of it instead of trying to like wing it on your own. If you wanted to go into Wilcom Hatch, which like I mentioned is a lot more expensive, but it is a more industrial level, I would say, digitizing program. And if you did go that route, you will not be learning that program in 6 months. You'll learn some things and how to wing it, but that program takes time. You really need to delve into it, take like time off from work and actually sit in classes and stuff. You could learn a lot of the basics within about a weekend to a week and a half, but it's just really not delving deep into that program and getting it under your belt, getting used to it, and like really digitizing on a professional level for a good 6 months. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that at least a little bit, especially if you're a slow learner like myself when it comes to that type stuff. So, but those are the two programs I recommend. There are others out there. Most digitizing program, all for the most part that I know of, digitizing programs have a trial version. So give the trial version a try and see how that goes, and then you'll know. Cheyenne Richardson, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Embroidery Diva, you're welcome. Betty says, oh, she was responding to someone else. Did I miss a review on the red line? I don't know. I do have a video up on how I got the red line up and going and how much I love it. It's just Jack. I started following your channel because you're very informative. Started my own clothing brand and want to embroider on hats, beanies, and apparel. I know you recommended the 4x4 small machine. I do recommend the 4x4 small machine for starting out. And yes, you can do beanies on that 4x4 small machine because I did. However, keep in mind, 4x4, you're limited to 4, unless you do the repositional hoop, then you're limited to 4x6.5 roughly. But the thing with the 4x4 machine is starting your own business, which I've helped a couple of small business, some young guys who wanted to start their own clothing brand and got them into embroidery and doing their own embroidery because they were like starting out, so they couldn't really afford to have embroidery services and digitizing all the time. So I tried to help them get into doing embroidery so they could do it for themselves, and they have, and doing very well with it actually. So yes, you can start out your own clothing line and do embroidery, and then as it builds up, then take over and go with the larger machine. So, but if you have the budget for a little bit larger, then yes, you can do that. Lucy, yes, ma'am. Anyone can purchase that. You don't have to have a business at all. Is it compatible with Mac? So both machines, both companies that you're talking about, it's not the machine itself that needs to be compatible with the Macintosh, because these machines work independently of a computer. You don't absolutely have to have a computer to run these machines. Is it advantageous and preferable? Yes. But the thing that you need is some kind of way to get your files to a flash drive. Like, for instance, this flash drive, it's a simple USB drive. Both machines take a USB drive. Both machines have their file extension. So Like for instance, Macintosh, um, well, that's a bad example. So an Adobe Acrobat file, if someone sends you a document and the document that they email you is a PDF, that is a file extension. That means the PDF means it belongs to Adobe Acrobat, and you will need to use an Adobe compatible program to open it up and read what that document says. Well, likewise, these two machines have their own file extensions. The brother has the PES file extension, and then the Redline has the DST, or DS6 Needle can use DST extension as well. That's a common file for most embroidery machines. So you just need to make sure that you can get a hold of those files with the extensions that go to those machines and put them on the machine. Doesn't matter if it's a Macintosh or if it's a Windows-based machine. Now, where your concern comes in is the software program that you're using to run or edit your embroidery designs, or look at your embroidery designs, or put designs together, or digitize. Those programs are the ones that you want to be sure are compatible with the Macintosh or the Windows-based machine. More of your programs are compatible with a Windows machine. If you already have Macintosh, in a lot of instances, you can still run those programs, but you would need a Windows emulator. So basically, a little side program that runs a Windows environment in the background on your Macintosh computer so that you can run those programs. Some programs like Wilcom Hatch, it works just fine on a Macintosh computer. You don't have to have any special anything. You don't have to have a Windows computer, rather. So a lot of that is the software that you're using as to what works on your machine. All right. Let's see. Wilcom Hatch has a $99 payment plan for the software, which it does. The thing though is, with the $99 a month, it's $1,200 total. If you pay outright for it, I think it's like $9.99 or something like that. Let's see. I have Bernina V8 software, which is Hatch Wilcom originally. Yes, Leslie Graham. I was actually ready to get into it. Read the Pants Designs. Thank you for your videos. They have inspired me to get the Brother PE800. Awesome. Did you get it recently? We'll ring the bell. Glow Hodges. I have a Brother PR600. How can I add more fonts? Okay. So with the any embroidery machine, fonts are huge files in and of themselves. Fonts are very large files, and you have to understand that the reason why those files are so large is because you have 26 letters of the alphabet, not including the additional 6 or sometimes more extra letters like the exclamation mark, the ampersand, the pound sign, or hashtag. So each one of those letters has its own little digitized file. And a lot of times when you purchase a font, it comes in different sizes. So 1 inch ampersand, then a ½ inch ampersand, then a ½ inch ampersand. That's 3 files right there. That doesn't include if your file sizes go up. I mean, your font size goes up. So 1.5 inches, 1.25 inches. So by the time you get 26 plus the 6 or 7 times 4, 5, 6 different sizes, that's a huge file. So to put those fonts on the machine is not going to happen. So that's why those machines already come with fonts installed on them. You don't add more fonts to the machine. However, what you can do is get embroidery editing software. There's a couple of them out there. Like one that I use is Sew It Pro. I talk about it all the time. It's very affordable, and it is easy to use. And the price point of it is awesome sauce, right? So if you do Sew It Pro, you can use those fonts, and those fonts will come together, and you just create a name or your saying or whatever you want to do in Sew It Pro and use it to put on your machine once the design is put together and it's done. That's usually how folks do with these machines. They don't have the fonts already installed on them. You just put your fonts together into what you want them to be, and then you create what you want on a computer separate of that. So that's also what Will.com Patch and stuff like that, where they digitize fonts and whatnot, and you can digitize and put all of that together for you. So when it comes to adding more fonts, you pretty much just go on to different websites. Like, for instance, in my description, I mentioned stitchtopia.com. That's one of my absolute favorite places to go get those beautiful swirl cursive fonts. She has a gorgeous stitch out on just about every font she has, on all of her fonts actually, and very good quality fonts. All right, so if you go to her website and you purchase her fonts, they go on your computer, and then you would just need an editing program to put all those fonts, like use those fonts and pull off the letters that you need in order to type out whatever it is that you're trying to do. There's also Embrilliance is a editing program as well, and they use what's called BX fonts, and you can type those fonts out on your keyboard. Even though now Sewit Pro, you can type them out as well once you map the fonts in. That's a whole different subject. It's a pretty deep subject. I have several videos out there on fonts and how to add them to Sewit Pro and how to use them with your machine. So just definitely check those out when you get a moment. And you can see how easy it is to get fonts and use them on your smaller machine. Thank you. Which machine would be perfect? It's just Jack. I can't tell you which one would be perfect, but I can tell you which one I love. So I love my Redline. It's an absolutely gorgeous machine, and for the price point in comparison to other machines out there that do the same thing, I say this is a better deal. But that's a decision that's entirely up to you. Do your research, do your due diligence. Don't just take my word for it, because at the end of the day, that money that you're going to pay out for your machine comes out of your pocket. It doesn't come out of mine. So the final decision really does need to be yours. But this has been an excellent value for me and my business. So that's pretty much how I suggest that. Love your videos and tutorials. I have the Brother PR 1050X, had it for a couple of months now, still learning. Thank you. Well, congratulations on your 10 needle baby. Congratulations. I think that was Jacqueline, right? Jack A. Sorry, Miss Jack A. Welcome. Congratulations to you and your new baby. Betty, you're welcome. Thank you for being here. And Marianne Reddick, that is an excellent suggestion to It's Just Jack. I thank you. I appreciate that. Laverne says, I watching and learning to plan to stay small with my 5x7, but I do love the speed of the red line. Yeah, it is awesome to stitch that quickly. It really is. All right, so let me go forward. Deborah Curtis, I have been embroidering for 4 years now. For 4 years, I have been. Let's see. Repeat that font site again. It's in the description. Well, it might not be in the description, but it should be in the description. And it's stitchtopia.com. So stitchtopia.com. And if you use the referral code A5E57, you will get an additional 10% off your first order with her. So stitchtopia.com. And the code again is A5E5 and the number 7. So it's awesome sauce. I love Stitchtopia. All right, so good and easy first project, Miss Catherine Brown. I would say get some El Cheapo hand towels from Walmart or Dollar Tree for that instance, and some tearaway stabilizer, which most people, I don't know why, when they get their embroidery machine, one of the first things they have is tearaway instead of cutaway. But get your tearaway stabilizer and stitch out something pretty simple on a towel. Those are pretty easy to do, because if you mess up, who cares? It's a towel. You still can use it to clean with. So that's why I usually suggest towels. And if you want to be super simple, you can go get like the flour sack towels. For instance, I have these. These are like the flower sack towels. I ordered these off of Amazon because I wanted to make a gift for someone. So these are pretty thin. They're not like super plush like a bath towel. Those I wouldn't suggest start with a bath towel, but like a thin hand towel or a simple kitchen towel like these. They're pretty thin, and you just embroider a little design on it, and it'll be super cute. And like I said, if it screws up, use it to clean it. Now, before we log out for the night, I wanted to drop something pretty heavy on you guys that I thought was really cool. Someone contacted me. I've heard about it. I had heard about it through the grapevine, through all of this mess that's been going on with the COVID and whatnot, but I didn't think it applied to me, so I didn't look into it. So for those of you in here joining us, and I appreciate you being here with us this evening, first and foremost, I want to say that. But for those of you joining me this evening and you have been using your crafting as a business and you've been making money off of your business, and you have a way to show that you've been making money with it, maybe by filing your taxes or something like that, please check into that small business loan that's out there for the emergency COVID loan thing that they have. It was supposed to end, if I'm remembering correctly, the end of June. And then someone said, no, they've extended it. Well, actually, I applied right at the end of June, but they were like, just go ahead and apply again because they've extended it. And now you still can apply for it. It's very simple to go online. Just go to sba.gov. There's a link there somewhere that you can click for business assistance through this COVID thing. Sign up. It is a loan. It's a small business loan. And you don't have to have a tax ID number, but if you are operating under your social security number, guess what? That's your tax ID number if you're filing your business under your taxes. But they are definitely helping people with this loan. And the amount rather that they give varies, but it's up to $10,000 if I'm not mistaken. So if you have the ability to apply for it, no, actually it's more than that. I was just told by somebody that they were helping people file for it, and the most they were helping people file for was 10,000. But I went on my own and applied. But if you the application says if it goes over $25,000, then they do ask for collateral. But it's a 20 or 30 year loan. I'm getting my numbers mixed up because it was just overwhelming by the time I actually looked into it. The loan doesn't have to be repaid for the first year. You have 12 months to start your first payment. And when you do start your first payment, I think it's 20 years. It's a 20-year loan. So they stretch it out, and it's like very little to no interest on it. And then from what I heard through another grapevine, and I don't know how true this is because I haven't seen it come to fruition in my case, they're saying that it's a good possibility they'll switch it over to it being a grant. So if that's the case, go ahead and check it out. I mean, the worst case scenario, like one person I know, she applied for it and they offered her $2,500. I haven't heard, like you said, who is that? Avery Head, it's up to $50,000, 30-year loan. I wasn't trying to fool with no $50,000. I didn't get no $50,000, but I was approved for a loan. And I specifically remember, because my husband has been in business for himself over 24, 25 years. And I remember way back in the day, I was trying to apply for that loan, and it was a hot week. SBA was like, you have to have perfect credit. And at the time, we didn't. And it was hard to get a loan. But now it's like, oh, this is what you got to do. This is it. And that's that. She said she applied for the grant and the SBA loan and got both. Everyone who applies for the loan gets $1,000 grant in addition to the loan. It's a 30-year loan. See, I don't know. I don't even know about the additional grant part. I just know they were like, okay, this is what you're getting. And I was like, for real? Are you serious? Y'all just don't know how much of a blessing that was, because there are certain things for my business to get my studio back up and going that it really needed some assistance. It really did, because anyway, apply for it, y'all. It's out there. I'm not gonna say it's free money, because nothing in life is free, but it's very helpful, and it's a, as they said, 30-year loan, and you have 12 months before the first payment comes due. And who knows how they're going to end up doing it. Yes, it is for real. It is very much for real. 3% interest, as Avery said. I know it was 3 something. I think what I saw was 3.25 or 3 something percent annual percentage rate. But what they told me I was going to have to repay was exactly what they were giving me. So what interest is that? What interest is that? So that little bit that you may get or qualify for or what have you can be used to purchase equipment if you need it for your business. So if there has ever been a time where you might need a financial boost, if there's any time, now I said this about making masks and starting a business 3 months ago now, I think, back in March, I think it was March or April, and I was telling y'all, if you wanted to start a business, now it's time to start a business. If you want to get into the mass, this is big, and you'll be able to pay. And I said that back then. I'm telling you that now with this loan before the deadline approaches again, because the deadline already came and they extended it. But I'm telling you, they've extended the deadline for a reason. Jump out there and get it now while you can, because it is there. It is real. It is helpful. And the terms are amazing. You will not come across this again. This is like a once in a lifetime, oh my God, are you really seriously for real type situation where they're really helping businesses. So if you've ever wanted to get some help, this 143, that's a lie. That's a lie. I know that for a fact. I know that for a hot full fact. You do not have to have no 570 credit score. Applied almost a month ago and haven't heard back from one of my businesses and denied for the other businesses. Check again for the one business. Now, I don't know for sure what their terms are as far as qualifying for business. And I will say this, because I almost got declined. Read the letter, the emails that they send you, and see what they are, see what they're wanting from you before you're denied. See what they're wanting from you before you're denied. All right. So there may be a qualification or something that you overlook. Like, for instance, I was told you had to have a business account. That's not really true. That's not true. But you have to make sure that everything you say about your business lines up. So don't falsify anything. That always comes back to haunt you at the worst possible time, and it's not beneficial. I'm just a firm believer in being truthful and honest in everything. So don't falsify anything. If you only made 5K last year, then say you only made 5K last year. They may look out for you anyway. You don't know. But just be truthful. Let them know what's going on. Say, hey, this is what I got. This is what I'm trying to do. Can you help a heifer out? And they'll either say yes or no. But it's worth a try. And even if they say no, you at least know that you tried. Okay? You at least know you tried. You at least know you tried. Because like Avery said, $1,000, a loan over 30 years, the payment is $5 a month. And you don't even have to start paying the $5 a month till next year, 2021. It's a fool. So several folks in here, as you see, have applied for it, have gotten it. frontline workers like doctors got up to 30,000 grants to help pay for workers' salaries. That's really cool to know. That's actually phenomenal to know. I'm glad to know that. But there are a lot of small, because mine missed the earlier question. I didn't see your question, babe. I'm sorry. My 11 by 13 magnetic hoop is not passing smoothly over the needle arm. Is the design too close to the edge, or what is wrong? 11 by 13 magnetic hoop. Do I have an 11 by 13? We took it in the other room. I think that blue one is 11 by 13. So it shouldn't be. It's not passing smoothly over the needle arm. I would have to see the video. Red line. I would.
Using the table. She's not using the table.
Oh, that's a good point too. We found out that a lot of times that magnetic hoop is so heavy, the table works the absolute best to help make sure that everything works smoothly on the machine. That table is like it's on there now. That table is my bestest friend when it comes to my magnetic hoops. The blue one. Okay, so make sure you use your table if you can. It's heavy to put it on, but once you lock that table in place, it's hitting the arm. Okay, try the table. Try the table, because I've learned that magnetic hoop is heavy. Even with my 6 needle and putting it on the 6 needle, those mighty hoops, the magnets in them are so heavy. It's, I don't know if you can see this, like this is a mighty hoop here, and it has a whole lot of play in that arm, and I don't like that. Hopefully within the next week or so, if I remember, I'm gonna call my dealer and ask him, is there a way to tighten that? If I brought it in, can he tighten it to keep it from flexing so much? But that table, if I had the table for this, ooh, child, that was terrible. Y'all saw that. I'm gonna have to do something about that. If I had the table, y'all ain't wrapped tight. If I had the table on that, I wouldn't have that much play and that much flex on that machine. So it would work better. So Avery Head, you're welcome. Nye said, I was told my need was not substantial, made no money last year, and was honest. Okay, so there you go. I mean, again, you're honest. You were honest about it. At the end of the day, you can sleep peacefully knowing that whenever the call comes, because they did say you need to keep your business receipts for 3 years, if not longer. Really, it's tax purposes, so you need to be keeping receipts for 7 years. But if they ever come knocking on your door and saying, what did you do with this money and why did you get it, you can sleep peacefully knowing that you're not going to get that phone call and then having to scramble and trying to remember and figure out what you said, what you did, blah 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 blah, to try and get that little bit of money. I mean, at the end of the day, that's not enough money to be trying to falsify no stuff for and wind up behind bars. It's just not cool. And I'm too cute to wear orange, so I prefer to be honest about what I'm doing with my business and got the receipts to prove it. So don't falsify anything to try and get free money when it's really not free. It's not worth it. So Nye, I hear you. I totally get that. What you got that you need to have coming is going to come because you were honest and you were doing things the right way. So right now you just sleep well knowing that you did the right thing. Between the Brother Multi-Needle and Redline, is there a difference in stitch quality? Yes and no. They both stitch very well. It depends on what I'm stitching, how fast I'm stitching, and and the tension and everything. It has to have the right tension settings. Your fabric has to be hooped with the right stabilizer, and the thread has to be one that goes through the machine, and the machine like that kind of thread. There's a lot of factors that come to play in that, and I'm not saying that to backpedal and be like, "Oh my God, the red line is," because my red line stitch is actually gorgeous way, no matter what I throw at this thing, except for metallic or certain metallic threads. But the reason why I'm saying that is a lot of times people say, "Well, that machine stitches like trash, and this one doesn't." But how are you hooping your stuff? So I run both of these machines, the exact same project I'm working on right now on both of these machines, both the same stabilizer. Both of them, I've tuned them up, made sure that the needles are stitching like they're supposed to. This one stitches faster than the 6 needle. The stitch quality is excellent on both of them. And something acts up and the stitch goes off, I know I need to check and see, like maybe my bobbin has some thread stuck in it or something, and I check all of that and whatnot, whatever. This one, the faster I stitch, the lesser the quality in it. The red line I can stitch full speed ahead and I don't have any issues out of it. So every embroidery machine is engineered to have a good stitch quality. Every embroidery, I mean, that's the whole point with an embroidery machine, is so that your embroidery looks good. A very high count stitch design on a 4x4 embroidery machine won't stitch out quite as high quality, because that's a home machine. It's a smaller footprint. You talk about a whole bunch of stitches in a small area, unless it's on something heavy duty like denim, and it won't have the same stitch quality on it as one of these multi-needle machines. The same stitch count, the same area, because especially with this one, because it's industrial, it's made to eat embroidery designs like that for lunch and stitch them out and spit them out like, okay, what's next? But your smaller embroidery machines are going to struggle with that a little bit. The 6 needle and even its companion, the 10 needle, these are home embroidery machines. They can be used in a commercial environment. It's okay. They're not made for industrial use. All right, so these machines are made to handle 50,000 embroidery designs in a day without missing a beat, and ready to do it the next day or even overnight if need be. These machines are made to run nonstop. That's what these are for. These are sweatshop machines. So this is an excellent machine if you plan on doing that high volume embroidery. If you're not, yes, you can get away with the lesser needle machines, the home embroidery machines, and it'll be okay. Your stitch quality is going to be pretty much up to how you treat your machine, how you maintain your machine, how you set up your embroidery projects, stabilized properly, right material for the design. If you're putting a heavy dense design on something that's not made like a lightweight material, you're going to get a jacked up design. There's a lot of stitch quality is what the user does with the machine. A lot of the stitch quality, more so than the machine itself. So to that end, every embroidery machine out there has good stitch quality. It's what the user does with it and how the machine is maintained. And that's just being honest, bluntly honest. You guys, it is about time for us to head out. Mighty Hoop ourselves a peaceful multi-needles that supports the magnetic hoop. I'll send you a link. Thank you. I appreciate that. Nice Soulful Creation. I knew I had a question. What size frame is being selected on the red line when using the 5x5 or 8x9 Mighty Hoops? So with those, they have programmed those size hoops, or the hoops that come with the machine. All of those have been programmed at the factory before they shipped it to you, as a courtesy, of course, to keep life easier for you. Mighty Hoops don't naturally come with this machine. So those have to be added into the machine, and it's called setting the parameters. If you go on Redline's website, they do have a video to show how to set the parameters for any other hoop you want to put on that machine. Saying that to say, in most instances, we like for myself, I don't have my mighty hoops set in that machine at all. I just don't. It's a waste of time in my own personal opinion. Um, what I have found is I know what size my design is, so I can set it for the very largest hoop size. What is it? Hoop A, and it'll work with whatever mighty hoop I put on there because I know I'm putting that 5.5 hoop on there. So whatever design I'm putting on there shouldn't be any bigger than 5 inches. You know what I'm saying? So that I don't come anywhere close to hitting the edge of my hoop. There's some tricks and tips that I want to do a video on and show what I do and some other stuff to help solve problems when you're trying to use an aftermarket hoop or a different type hoop with that machine. We got to get to that point. Definitely need to get to that, and I'm working on it, and I'm sorry it's taking a while, but I'll see about trying to get at least a little hint peek of something to help you answer your question, because I know you're ready to use your mighty hoops with your machine. But it's very easy. I promise it is easier than you think it is to use that machine with your mighty hoops and not even have to worry about setting a hoop ahead of time. It really is. Um, really enjoyed the lesson this evening. Thank you for always being a blessing. Good night. Good night all. She says have a wonderful and productive week. Happy crafting. So thank you very much. Do I have an affiliate link for the red line? I do not. If you just call over there and let Valerie and the crew know that the baby's booty told you that the red line is awesome, they'll add an extra set of hoops in there for you. And it also makes me look good on paper. You know, they were like, oh man, she's nice. She sends people to us. I believe in this machine. So of course I'm going to send people to you. And I love mine. Thank you, Gail McNair. I really appreciate that. All right, you guys. So I enjoyed our night this evening. It's 5 minutes till. I had a lot of fun. Thank you for hearing me out and talking about getting some things going with your business. I didn't really get to get too much into it like I wanted to, but we did talk a good bit about starting your own business and some things that you would want to keep in mind when deciding what machine to go with. Thanks for your questions and sending in your comments as well in the chat. Thank you for joining in with the Hoop Group. It's a pleasure as always to have you here with us. So until the next time we see you, hopefully next week, we should be up and going a little bit better. For those of you who are Hoop Group captains, be on the lookout for your awesome file coming this week. And that's for the month of, what is this, July. So those July Hoop Group captains, you should get your July design by the end of the week. It's getting late. So at any rate, thanks for joining me this evening. It was a lot of fun. I look forward to seeing you all next week. And until the next time we see you, we hope you have happy embroidering. Have a great night, and you guys please stay safe. Bye.